Hello.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing good. Yeah. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. I like your background a lot. I love that.
Thanks. My office is in our guest bedroom, so
Really? Oh,
always need a background.
yeah. That's super cool. It's really neat. Yeah. Hey, Philip. How you
Hi,
doing?
I'm doing well. Let me figure out my camera situation.
Sure. We'll give people a few minutes to sign on. About 16, yeah, or so registered. So I know a couple can't attend, but yeah, they'll be recording, and yeah, we'll let them just roll in and then get started. It's about 45 minutes for the event today. So
Cool.
yeah. What part? Where are you located, Britt? I know that Philip, you're in Claremont, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm in Los Angeles. I'm at the Getty.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Really good. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So it's meeting everyone from all over in the area. So.
And where are you, Becky?
Oh yes, I'm in San Diego in Pacific Beach.
Nice.
Yeah. So I like living by the beach, but
How close to the water are you? What
I'm
street are you on?
yeah, I'm on Felspar and Cass, so I'm about 2 blocks from the water.
Yep.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
great.
It's great, especially when there's good beach days and stuff. So yeah,
100%.
yeah. But Claremont's so nice because it's a little bit further back. So
Yeah. No, I was for like 7 years. I was in PB. I think at one point I was on Cass and Thomas. It's
oh
like your
wow,
neighbor for a little bit.
yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of people like Cass is such a popular street to live on,
Hmm.
and yeah, I was in North PB at one point, but yeah, it's cool. Did you ever miss it or no?
I do. I do. I used to play. I met my wife playing beach volleyball.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
so basically every day I would make my way to the beach, play volleyball. We met
Yep.
there. But
Oh,
then,
that's
to buy a place, it's a big difference. PB and Claremont, it's like a
oh,
$1 million difference.
oh my goodness, I bet. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know it's so different. Oh my gosh, that's awesome that you guys still play volleyball.
Yeah, a little bit, not as much. Now we're older and
Oh,
slower.
very cool. Well, yeah, that's that you still do it occasionally. Yeah, I play so yeah over there sometimes. So yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah, yeah. Hello, Mary. Oh, I think the camera froze. I think you're on
Muted.
mute. Yeah. Oh,
There. I'm still trying to get used to the Bevy thing.
oh, yes, I know. It's a different, like, a very different style platform. So, yeah,
So
it's great.
thanks for letting me join. I just wanted to listen in because I was very interested in the subject, even though I'm not in your user group.
Oh, no problem. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know. If it's virtual, it's easy to attend, so I always welcome anyone. So, great. Yep. And so, it's almost 5 after, so I know people might still be coming in. Yeah, I was just letting the others know that we had about, like, 16 or so sign up for the event today. I know, 2 aren't able to attend, but, we'll still keep covering through these topics, and it's about 45 minutes, that we'll cover, and then, that'll be it, and then we'll, talk about the future events and whatnot. So I will share my screen because there's a deck that I have that I want to go over, and we'll just go over some housekeeping items first, and then get into the AI topics that are super exciting. Okay. And can you see actually, I think I just unshared, so
I can still see it.
you can, okay, great.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you can see, okay, so is it full screen as well?
It's full screen. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, great. Because just so that like, yeah, it's not, you don't see all of the slides too. So, because there's a lot of like, there's text for the questions and whatnot. So, all right, very good. Well, welcome everyone. So for anyone who doesn't know me, because there's a couple of us who haven't met yet, my name is Becky, and I'm the SoCal Chapter user group leader. I work at Qualcomm, and I'm the system admin here. So it's actually full-time system admin, really. But I handle everything from discovery and process alignment to training and to development as well. So pretty much everything. Just to go over some house rules. So this is a safe space. We don't allow self-promotion, or Adobe discourages that. We also ask that people don't contact anyone else outside of the user group without their consent. And if anyone does like share any information at this event, like their contact information, for example, then we ask that that's not shared unless they give consent. And also, I just wanted to let you know that all the Adobe sessions are recorded. So if you do not wish to participate in the live recorded session, then you can always watch this recording at a later time. So for jumping into today's roundtable questions. So we're gonna go over a few hot topics. So the first one is, what do you think about the upcoming AI features in Workfront? And have you caught any waves with them yet, or are they just another buzzword? So we're going to dive into that one first, and then we're going to go over and see if you run into any type of challenges with your AI getting approved in your company to use AI with like Workfront, for example, or any rough currents or anything of that sort. Or has it been smooth sailing? Because I know we've had a couple issues at Qualcomm that I can cover too. So especially with the Adobe AI Writer and some other tools. And then I also will dive into next with everyone on how you feel about the agentic AI agents. So there's a feature in Workfront that I'll cover that it can pretty much tell you like a lot of information about your project and make decisions, and that's a little bit scary to think about the agentic AI agents. So getting your thoughts on that. And then just overall, your biggest concerns about integrating AI tools in your company. So is data privacy a concern? I know it definitely is at Qualcomm. So for the first topic, what do you think about the upcoming AI features in Workfront? Have you caught any waves with them yet, or are they just another buzzword? I'm going to go through and highlight the topics or the new features that Workfront is coming out with for just in the near future. So from July all the way through the fall, that's when all these features are going to be seen. And some of them are already in Workfront, like AI Assistant, but I'll cover those really quick. And then I am going to stop sharing, and then we'll go and do a roundtable of what we think. So the first one are smart filters and smart sort. So this is where you can actually sort by priority with the filters. And they're not just standard filters like my current projects, but they're going to be filters like show me tasks with documents on them, or show me tasks that are assigned to me this week. So the smart filter feature is definitely something new that will be implemented, I believe, over the summer is when we'll start seeing that first. And then for Catch Me Up, that's another feature that's coming up, and that's just a summary of activities of work in a specific time frame. So if you're out of office, for example, for a week, it'll catch you up for whatever you specify. Like show me the last 7 days, give me a summary of what happened. And then the next feature is going to be an AI-powered form fill and QA. So you can upload a document and AI will extract all that unstructured information into a custom form. The next new feature that we'll be seeing is AI Reviewer. So something that is combined with Gen Studio and Frame, but really it's going to be for AI reviewers to help with like brand guidelines at first. It's in July, where it'll like look at the brand guidelines and say if something looks off. And then phase 2 is going to entail like copy guidelines, allow more file types. And then phase 3 is going to go into like spelling, content authenticity, and more file types. And then we have the AI assistant. This one already exists in Workfront, but if you don't have it's not in every package. So I know that I haven't been able to use this really because you need admin console. You have to switch to admin console, and we just renewed our contract and are switching to that. So I'm super excited to use it. So, but what this does, it's in Workfront and it's in Workfront planning, and it summarizes and manages work items for projects, tasks, or issues, and then it finds reference material for work processes, and then it also generates formulas for calculated fields. So that could be really helpful. So the prompt, for example, that you'd write for that would be rewrite this formula to remove the invalid expression error. That can be an example of a prompt that you'd use. And then another feature that's coming is Microsoft 365 Copilot. So you can actually personalize campaigns and optimize workflows without even leaving the Microsoft Teams app. You can do it right in there. So that's interesting. And then let's see. Yep, that's the last. So back to the question, and then I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on what they think of all these new features too. So have you used them yet? Do you think that they're just another trend that people are hopping on with, or do you think they're going to be super helpful? And whoever wants to come off mute first. I can also go first too, or I'll go. Yeah, I know I've done a lot of.
Just going to ask, because I'm actually here to learn about it, because we're doing our contract renewal and I'm trying to get permission to turn the AI on from our CDO and legal counsel.
Yeah.
We're on the Prime package. Are those all Prime or are they Ultimate?
It actually, for those, let me just double check, because I had the contract open, but that's a good question if those are on Prime or Ultimate. Let's see. I'm going to see if I can pull that information up. I know for sure they're on Ultimate, and I know that since they're not out yet, I believe that the Gen Studio one, for example, you'd need to have Gen Studio to use it.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question for that. So
you know what? I know it's included in Prime because we have Prime and we have the AI.
Okay.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Yeah. So AI assistant, it says it is for the other features. Actually, that's something that I'll have to check and get back to you on, because we just renewed our contract as well. And these are all new features that are coming. So with Ultimate, we're expecting to have all of these, but with Prime, I'm not 100% sure because we renewed on the Ultimate one. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So what do you think about all of those new ones that we just talked about, that we just covered? Like, do you think that they're going to be useful, or are you excited about having them when you renew? Or
honestly, the biggest complaint I get is about reporting. So if any of these help with reporting, that's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like the AI, the one that helps with the formula. So the one that, let's see, it was the AI reviewer, I believe, or not the reviewer, it was the AI assistant that helps with the reporting. So that'll be super nice. Absolutely. Yeah. How about you, Phil, Mary, Amber, any thoughts on these features?
This is actually very informational. I didn't realize you could do some of this from the AI assistant. So this is great. What I've been using Copilot for complicated reporting and text reporting, and it gets me close, but it doesn't get me all the way there. So I'm anxious to try it. I'm also a little disappointed. I wish that, I'm glad to hear it's going to expand, because one of the things I'd like for it to be able to tell me is, why is this project, in trouble or at risk, and what do I need to get it back on track? And it can't tell me that at this point. And I think that's something that would be very helpful for some of the project managers.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be super helpful. In fact, there is a feature coming that we're going to cover in a little bit too, that it does do some of that. So
Excellent. Thank you. Good.
yeah, I definitely think that the AI, the filter is going to be super helpful in finding things. Um, I get a lot of people who sometimes just don't know exactly like what they're looking for. So they don't know like which filter to use, like for showing current or showing something that's in planning, for example. So I think that if the filters like can pull information like that, that'll be super beneficial. But also if it'd be really neat if it does end up being like a little smarter where it knows like, okay, well, like if I say I want to pull current projects, it'll say, okay, I'll pull all your current projects, but just keep in mind that some of them are in planning and like just because a lot of people don't know that I think one of the biggest things is that people keep their projects in planning instead of current, or they always forget to change the status. So I think that's going to be the smart filters will be really cool, I think. And the AI assistant, we're just getting that as soon as we switch to global admin console. So some of these have been gated for us to use, but we're in the process of switching to admin console right now, and that's been a challenge just because we have a lot of external users from agencies, and if they have an account that is with if they have another account, like not for everyone, but it depends on certain circumstances, like if they have an account that was an Adobe ID with a company that's still registered, then they'll have trouble logging in, so you have to manually work with those people to like deactivate the old one. So yeah, I see you, Mary. You're shaking your head yes. Have you like switched to admin console to already so you could access these features? Or
Yes, we do have admin console, and I also had that problem with external users, and I was able to put together a training document I'd be happy to share with you on what they need to do.
Yeah.
They're an external user, so I'll send that to you after this call.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah, I appreciate that because we're going through that right now. So it's definitely something that we're looking forward to using, but it's kind of like, oh, I wish we'd get access to this stuff now, but we have to, jump through a couple more hoops. So
I think I'll send it to you in a Word document. That way you can edit it and create a PDF, and it should be pretty easy for you then.
oh yeah. Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's super helpful. Appreciate that. Yep. And then let's see. So just going through these kind of one at a time. Catch Me Up seems pretty cool. It's a little bit like I think a little bit of like a summary. They don't really have anything too much like that right now. So that seems to be something that'll be useful, but I'm not like overly excited about it personally, but I mean, could be, could be helpful in the sense where you're just seeing what's going on with your team. So
How confident are you that it would catch everything? Like, I'd be worried that it would miss something important. And then if I trusted to, I would have to go through everything anyway myself.
yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I would probably say, I don't know, 50% confidence that it would catch everything.
Okay.
But I don't know. What do you think? Has anyone had that yet or no? Catch Me Up? I don't believe that's out yet, to be honest. I think yeah. What does everyone else think confidence level about that summarizing everything that happened?
I've done that just project by project, just kind of, summarize, this project, and I'm not impressed with it.
Mhm.
I think it needs some more development.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure about the Catch Me Up. I haven't used that.
Yeah.
It's available.
Well,
Do you know if it has the ability to ask for specifics? Catch me up on this specifically, or is there an instance of this, the error type, project type, request type?
that's a good question. I don't know that. Yeah, I'd have to ask Adobe just because I haven't been able to use it yet. But does anyone else on the call happen to know if that's something that's one of the features that's no, okay, yeah. They haven't given out tons of specifics on these yet, but I'm hoping that once we start using them that they'll be very impressive. So and then let's see, just a couple other ones here. So the AI-powered form fill, that'll be super helpful. I have a lot of users who are very, like, they upload docs. We do everything in Word docs and whatnot, so that's going to be extremely useful, I think, for putting it into a custom form, especially when when the other AI feature comes out that will help identify what custom forms are supposed to go on a project too, when it's smart enough to know that. All right. Anyone else want to add any thoughts or no? Because then we'll switch to the next topic here. We've got the AI assistant, Copilot. This seems cool depending on what you can do. The Copilot for like optimize, just like not having to leave Teams, but I feel like it would be very limiting for what I can do in it. And then, sorry, I skipped over this one. This one, if you're not getting Gen Studio, then it worries me a little because we did get one of the Gen Studios in our contract, but I can see its purpose, but it would be, yeah, that's one thing that was concerning when I saw this on a webinar, is that you do use it with Gen Studio and Frame. So in Frame, we haven't seen anything at all just yet. So has anyone worked with Frame at all, and any thoughts on how that's going to play into this? Yeah, it's going to be for proofing creative. So. All right, cool. Well, if there's no other thoughts on these different features coming into Workfront, we'll go to the second topic. So what challenges have you faced when trying to get AI approved in your company? So does anyone else want to start with this one?
I mean, I could start with that.
Yeah.
Our security person is, yeah, I had troubles with it. It probably took about 2 months with our security person going back and forth with the people at Adobe. Before he felt comfortable with signing it. He finally got all his questions answered. And so luckily we were able to sign it, but it took easily 2 months to get it done.
Oh, wow. 2 months? Okay. Yeah, yep. We had some challenges just because, well, we have an AI council. So this is for not just the Adobe tools, but it's also for like Writer, for example. We use Writer for copy. And I wrote some notes down here too that we did have to actually, like, even though we make AI at Qualcomm, like we're in the business of that, we still wanted to, like, we wanted to be on the forefront of it. So it's been in our history for a long time, but we still had to really convince leadership, like, hey, we want to get into this. So that part was a little bit easy for us, but we had to do like a data processing agreement, and then we had to do like run it through the AI council, and we had to do an ISRP. So there were a couple security, like we had to run it by security basically for those, and the AI council, and the chatbot has not been something that's approved. That's the hardest thing to get approved, but they were able to do like a blanket approval for a lot of the AI features. So that it was definitely challenging, and it's taken a few months at least for that. I want to say actually, because we're trying to do all of our tools at once, since the AI in Workfront is very similar to the rest of the Adobe stack, we have put it all in at once, and it's probably been, I want to say, like maybe 6 months more to get it approved for those. But that's an easier way, like when you approve it for all the tools at once. If they're for AI Assistant, it's very similar between the different tools. Anyone else, just in general, have trouble getting or challenges with AI in their company too, with coming across any AI councils that you have, or any sort of different like ISRPs that you have to run by security? Okay, well, yeah, we can move on to the next topic. Amber, sorry.
I'm being the creepy lurker. Hi, everybody. I'm Amber. I work at Intuit. I'm not a system admin on anything, and only part of our business units are using Workfront. My team is looking to get into it and use a pilot program. So I'm just I was here to learn about the features and hear you guys talk about it. But yes, in general, Intuit, getting AI approved, there's lots of hoops to go through. Like, I don't know that anybody gets an easy button for, sure, go ahead and let everything access all our data. But we have been getting a few more tools, right? Like we use Writer. I think we have our own, internal AI we use for everything and have developed, but they're starting to let us have access to more outside tools as well. But it's taking, like a year for some of them, it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it is definitely a big challenge. So yeah, that's great. Well, it's cool that you're rolling it out too. So there's, definitely a lot you can learn, and anyone can be a part of the group too. So hopefully this will all be helpful to see, but yeah, some of I think like in addition to getting AI approved, just sometimes like the gating features that there are, with accessing these features can be a little bit tough. So that's just one I didn't realize for like planning. Fusion is going to be like you need Fusion pretty much to make it real time, and then the admin console of course for a lot of these. So yeah, just some things to keep out for. So luckily though, this year we renewed our contract, so we're able to get access to those. All right, anyone else have any thoughts on this? Otherwise we'll go to the next topic. Okay, so next topic is how do you about agentic AI agents that can perform tasks and make decisions in workflow and planning tools like Workfront? You think it's going to be, go smoothly, or do you think it's going to be choppy waters? One thing that, let's see, I'm just going to share. So with using AI in tools, I just put a couple stats here that it's estimated to add productivity. So $4.4 trillion worth of added activity or productivity. And 92% of companies plan to increase AI investments. So that's really big on the horizon. It's definitely a lot of companies are probably looking to utilize these features. This in Workfront Project Health is new, and it's coming in the fall. And they talked about this at Adobe Summit, but Project Health is an actual agentic AI agent that is supposed to predict risks and generate scores based on the resources of your project, the scope, schedule, and it gives you advice on how to fix those issues, and then it'll generate a new score based off of that. So I'll unshare my screen, and what do you guys think about this one, the Project Health? This is actually using an agentic AI agent.
I think my group and marketing operations, this is something, if it works, it will be great, right? But how long does it take to learn to actually give accurate predictions? So hopefully it doesn't Chicken Little it and the sky is falling, right? For the first 6 months, as it learns kind of how your work flows through. Or hopefully it's scraping all your old data for everybody who's been implemented for a while and already has a fill. But in theory, I like it.
Yeah, definitely seems like a really cool feature to have. Those are really good points, though.
So this is the first time I've heard of Agentics AI. What's the difference of that and the Workfront AI?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agentic AI agents are just supposed to make decisions. So that's just the term pretty much for a part of AI that has actually something that can predict and make decisions. So that would be really the definition of it. Yeah, or that's just what it's categorized as. Yeah, agents or chatbots might fall into that too.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Any thoughts? You mentioned Project Health, or you mentioned being able to do this. That would be a good feature. So this is kind of what you mentioned earlier on.
I agree with what Amber said. That first of all, it'd be brilliant to have this, and to me, that's right there. That could be an executive summary, right, too, on a report out. So that's very interesting to me.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great feature as well. Only the issue that I see with my users is, well, we're a big company and we have about 200 something in marketing, and we don't have designated project managers on every team. So a lot of times people are not completing tasks on time, which or they're doing things a little off schedule or late. So I worry that everything is going to be flagged as a risk a little bit. So I'm wondering if there's any way to take some of that into consideration, or maybe it'll help actually ping people to complete the project. So maybe even if just for that, it would be helpful.
Becky, I think that everybody has that problem with, the more Workfront sessions I sit in. I'm dealing with that right now with projects that are at risk, but they're really not at risk because people aren't updating their tasks. So we just got approval last week. We are sending out late task reports, sending it to everybody and also their managers, so we could get things back on track and not have to track things manually outside of the system.
Oh, wow. Well, that's that's a really good point.
We'll see how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else have any other thoughts on this one?
And I can just say, I know Becky knows who I am, and you're not supposed to talk about yourself, but I work for a global translation company. And so I work with many customers. And the reason I'm here is to learn about Workfront because my customers use Workfront. So I don't dig into it myself. But I do have many customers, and probably the top of their list is agentic AI. If they can, nobody likes to hear this, but reduce their customer support workforce and instead replace them with a chatbot that can act as the phone tree and solve problems, that's what everybody wants to do. And for us, they're finding these tools and then asking them to have them in multiple languages. So we're translating or training AI for these tools to do this. It's at the forefront of everyone's mind. The project health portion of it might be a little risky. It would depend on what kind of parameters you can set for the AI, right? You have to train this thing a lot to do exactly what you want. So it depends on what you're using and what kind of customizability it allows. But the first portion of that, of it's acting like a customer support agent, is probably the best step for companies now, because that's what it does really well. If you could define what it's allowed to do and not to do, and then let it do it for the customer, it's an amazing tool. I think it's probably one of the best use cases for AI right now that we can actually use, other than like what Copilot does for making your Word documents better, or creating like project trackers in Excel just by typing in what you need. Those are the main use cases that I have for it now that I really trust AI for. Otherwise, it gets really risky.
I totally agree.
It's my 2 cents.
No, yeah, I completely agree. That's a really good point. It's great to hear that those are such big use cases and the biggest things for AI too. So, great. Anyone else? Britt, any thoughts on project health? Oh, I think you're on mute. Oh, that's okay. Definitely. Yeah, that's perfectly valid. Is it because just you want to see it more perfected first? Okay. Yep. That's definitely a good reason. Because some people could depend on these, and it could really, if this makes mistakes, then that could be also really negative. So. All right, well then we'll jump into the last topic here for today on AI. So last one, what are your biggest concerns about integrating AI tools into your entire organization? So this could include the Adobe stack, or even if you're using other tools with AI right now, any type of concerns just in general about AI. Something big like data privacy definitely has us concerned, where the agents are getting, or where the models are being trained. So I think that this one's going to be really important to cover and talk about. But some things that Adobe has actually done, for instance, they don't use a public large language model, and they don't train on your data. They also respect content authorship. It's audit ready and attributed, and there's enterprise access controls. So I think being able to control it, access controls for the enterprises is really important for us. But number one, I think, is that they don't use a public large language model. That's super huge. I guess I'll go first since I'm talking about it. But it was really hard. It was difficult to get approved for this, but one of the biggest concerns that we had for putting AI into our organization is how it would be trained off of other models that companies are using. And we have a lot of proprietary information at Qualcomm with like developers and all the technology that we're creating. So if somebody could potentially hack into the same large language model or, ask a question about what Qualcomm's using and that data is stored in it, then that could be a really big security risk. So I took a prompt engineering course for AI prompt engineering course about, I think like maybe six months ago or so. And it was about hacking it was a little bit about like hacking. And that was super interesting to me. Just how you can, just a little bit more about the science behind that. But it's very good that they don't use a public large language model. And even the type, not just a public large language model, but we're actually not allowed to use any Google products at Qualcomm. And that is something that we had to make sure that they are not using that either, because there's different ones they can use. So that's pretty much my experience so far. Who wants to elaborate on that for the experience for them about integrating tools in AI into your organization in general, like your biggest concerns about it, not necessarily challenges, but just like security or.
With our company, it's the data privacy. They just sent out some information last week about some parameters. Found out that people were putting spreadsheets out in like Chat GPT or Microsoft Copilot and asking for some feedback on that. And that's private company data that should not be out there at all.
Definitely.
It's our biggest issue.
I have a question about the training on your data. So does Adobe promise you a closed loop LLM? Because the reason I ask is like for AI to get better, you have to teach it with Qualcomm data, for example. So it can learn your processes, it can learn your content type, it can then fill in your forms correctly. If you're not training it, then it's just going to make the same errors over and over again. So when it says not training on your data, I'm guessing that you would have to, and then they would have to give you like a secure closed loop LLM, which is almost impossible for each client.
That would be a lot of work to do. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, I mean this is that's straight up from an Adobe webinar too. Like this, that information about how they don't do that. So, I agree with you that you need to honestly, like it would be great if they could use one of our SharePoints or like where we have all of our SOPs and guides on all of our processes, and then refer from there instead of just like Experience League or some like a general site like that for a lot of this. So I know that I was under the impression that they will use, like they will have different, like it'll be customized for your company, but it does say that they don't train on your data. So it's a little bit ambiguous or confusing to me.
Yeah. It's all, so what we do at my company is we work with all of the different LLMs. So we have Microsofts, we have Googles, we have Amazons, we use all of them. And then whichever one our customer wants to use, we use our own paid private instance of it and then branch it off for the customer. So we don't have our own.
Yeah.
We do, but it's never going to be as good as Google's or as good as one of those big ones.
Yeah.
So then we just close it off and then make it private to them. We train that specific one. But it says Adobe doesn't use a public LLM. So I'm curious what they're using.
I know. And so that you're right, that I am very curious about that. I haven't gotten much like specific detail, and I'm very interested in some of the webinars that they're going to be hosting too, just like AI webinars in the future, because it'll be really helpful for specific data. And I want to get more involved in that for sure, like attending those. But I think we've just kind of seen like teasers a little bit and not super specific information yet.
So the PMI, the Project Management Institute, currently has, I think it's about 3 or 4 free training courses on project management and AI. I saw it on LinkedIn last week, and I haven't looked at any of them yet, but I want to start doing like ones. I want to start looking at those because I think that might be helpful too.
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, yeah, as well as I like those courses, and then the prompts are really going to be important too, because I think that's going to really affect how a lot of this output is, coming. So
I think that's key, the
mhm.
prompts.
Yeah, they should. I advise when they kind of like back in February they came and they visited. They had an offsite with us and told us a little bit about these features, like a teaser, and they mentioned about like I one thing that I let them know I thought would be helpful would be like having a best practices sheet for AI prompts when rolling out all these features. So I think that would be super helpful. Mhm. Yep. All right. Well, any other final thoughts on all of these topics? Okay, so I'm gonna just do a couple other last slides here that I want to share. So, if you know of anyone who wants to join the SoCal chapter, the link is here. They'll just have to click join, and you'll receive notifications automatically when you do that by just for new events. Speaking of events, we have some coming up. So I'll highlight those first. So in August, Adobe's hosting a skill exchange. This isn't a WUG specific event, but they are hosting a skill exchange. So that's on August 21st, and it's for several tools. So right here, you'll see that there is like Marketo and there's AJO and analytics, but Thursday is going to be the Workfront session. So that's from 9 to noon and Pacific time. So that registration will open soon in July. And if I just hop back to our next event. So after the skill exchange, we're going to have an after party. It's going to be, I'm planning to, the WUG SoCal chapter would host, but we'd have the other chapters for WUGs and whoever wants to join co-host. And it'd be like more of a panel discussion. And it'd be similar style where we're going to go over all of the takeaways from the Adobe Skill Exchange event and what we think about that. And then we're gonna do a happy hour in person too, an in-person event, and that's still to be determined, just because trying to pick the right area to do it. And so, if anyone has any input though on or suggestions on where they'd like to see an in-person event, then definitely let me know, or feel free to email me or put a note in the chat. Also, we are looking for a co-lead for the SoCal chapter. So the requirements are you do have to be a Workfront customer or partner. Ideally, you live in SoCal because we want to do SoCal events. We want to host in-person events here, and you would help lead quarterly events. So if you're interested, there's the link to the form. And this will be posted on Experience League after the event. All right, so let's see. Anyone else have any final questions or comments? All right. Thank you all so much for coming. I know we had a small group today, so we'll have to see where all the others were. But I really appreciate all the input, and I definitely got a lot out of this for just like hearing all of your feedback, and it was super helpful. And then I look forward to the links that you're sending. And let's see. Oh yeah, Amber dropped already. So yeah, thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Becky.
Yeah,
Thank you, Becky.
Have a great rest of the day.
You too.
Thanks.